Dao De Jing Chapter 30, the way of peace strength without arrogance, one who follows the Tao and assists the ruler with its virtue, does not use force to dominate the world, for every act of violence invites a response. Where armies march, thorns and brambles grow. After great wars, bad years are sure to follow. A master of arms achieves his aim, but does not flaunt his might. He acts without arrogance, succeeds without boasting, prevails without pride. He strikes only when there is no other choice, and never delights in strength. When things reach their peak in power, they begin to decay. This is not the way. What is not in accord with the Tao will soon perish. Key thoughts and philosophical insight. 1. Tao-based governance avoids force. One who follows the Tao does not use force to dominate the world. Laozi makes a clear distinction between ruling through virtue, D, and ruling through violence or coercion. Forceful rule may achieve short-term victories, but always leads to long-term suffering and instability. The Tao-guided leader understands that peace is preserved not through domination, but through alignment with nature and restraint. This is a sharp contrast to many historical or modern leaders who believe might makes right. Laozi reminds us, the more you force things, the more resistance you create. 2. Violence has natural consequences. Where armies march, thorns and brambles grow. After great wars, bad years follow. This line highlights the ecological and social costs of warfare. Even a victory in war leaves behind destruction, poverty, and trauma. Fields go untended. People suffer. Life takes years to recover. This is not just poetic imagery, it's a sober political observation. Laozi sees warfare as unnatural, a rupture in the harmonious flow of life, and urges leaders to consider the deeper consequences of military action. 3. Restraint even in victory, succeed without boasting, prevail without pride. A true master of strategy, according to Laozi, achieves the necessary, but does not glory in conquest. Success should come with humility, not hubris. This is the virtue of non-attachment, doing what must be done without ego. This attitude is especially rare in cultures that celebrate dominance, whether in politics, business, or personal ambition. But Laozi's timeless message is, the greater your pride, the closer your fall. 4. Power that peaks must decline. When things reach their peak in power, they begin to decay. This is a universal principle. Whether it's empires, corporations, ideologies, or even personal success, what grows too strong too fast, without balance, collapses under its own weight. Why? Because overreaching violates the natural rhythm of the Tao, which values moderation, flow, and balance. The strongest oak falls in the storm, while the flexible reed bends and survives. How Chapter 30 offers modern wisdom in global politics and warfare. Laozi's warning is highly relevant in an age of military aggression and political tension. Military power may win battles, but not hearts or lasting peace. Long-term security arises from diplomacy, fairness, and humility, not bombs and boasts. In corporate and leadership ethics, Organizations that expand aggressively without grounding in ethics and sustainability often implode. Leaders who act with quiet strength and service-oriented purpose foster lasting impact, while those who flaunt success invite downfall. In social justice and advocacy, movements for justice must be grounded in moral clarity, not domination. Victory achieved with violence or arrogance can backfire. The most enduring changes come through integrity and compassion. In personal development, let go of the need to prove, boast, or win by overpowering. Inner strength lies in restraint, not aggression. Achieve your goals, then move on without ego. That's the Taoist path. In conflict resolution, whether in families, organizations, or nations, confrontation should be a last resort. When needed, it must be free from gloating or cruelty. Lasting peace comes from understanding, not punishment. In environmental stewardship, the relentless exploitation of nature, driven by the belief in domination and infinite growth, is a form of violent arrogance. And just as Lao Tzu predicted, decay follows: climate crisis, ecological collapse. Living in harmony with nature means humility before its laws. Chapter 30 of the Dao De Jing teaches that those who walk in harmony with the Tao do not rely on violence or force to achieve their goals. While power can bring temporary victory, it always comes at a cost or leaves scars, and overreach leads to decay. The wise leader acts out of necessity, not pride. He wins without boasting, succeeds without arrogance, and knows when to stop. In every realm, politics, business, personal life, true strength is quiet, measured, and humble. This is the way of the Tao, subtle, enduring, and deeply humane.